Okay, we are live.
Yes.
Good morning, good afternoon,
Good
good
morning,
day.
Clara.
Yes, depends on where you are in the world and when you're watching. I want to welcome you to Lyonsview Realty Financial Fridays. My name is Clara Lyons-DeVaughn, and I am the broker owner of Lyonsview Realty. Our team provides residential, commercial for small businesses and nonprofits and property management services. We have an education arm, which is Lyonsview Academy, and that provides real estate licensing and continuing education, credit counseling, and distressed homeowner solutions. And we also have Lyonsview Lifestyles, which provides health, wealth, and wellness education. So, Lyonsview Realty, we launch Financial Fridays to help you stay current on trends that impact your bottom line. And our goal is to provide you with resources, information, and tips to assist you in making the best financial decisions. Our commitment is to maximize your wealth building power now and in the future. So, stay tuned and welcome. Feel free to like and share this video. Our guests are really here as a resource to you. So ask questions. You can post them down in the comment section. And today we have a very special guest, Mr. Cardwell Thaxton.
Uh, Hello.
And I met Mr. Thaxton through the Southern New Jersey chapter of the National Association of Real Estate Brokers. He is a phenomenal human being, and he has quite a few resources. There are quite a few things that he is involved in with his company. He's a fellow real estate professional. But today we're going to tap into his appraisal skills. But I want to welcome Mr. Thaxton. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great, Clara. Thank you for inviting me. I've been looking forward to this meeting and being able to talk to your audience. So I appreciate you blessing me in this way.
Indeed, indeed. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, how far back should we go? Do we want to go all the way back to me growing up in DC, or do we want to just start here at the start of the century? Let's start at the start of this century. That'll
Okay.
be easier. All right. I've been involved in real estate for most of this 21st century. I've been an appraiser for 18 years now. I've been a realtor for about 7. And I started my real estate redevelopment company almost 2 years ago, maybe about 1 year, 9 months, something like that. So I'm addicted to real estate. That's what I'm all about here. Um, I love the appraisal business. Prior to that, though, I should say I was in sales for many years. I've done all sorts of sales. Never sold cars, but just about anything else I've sold. Prior to getting in real estate, I was actually a fundraiser for the United Way, which I
Oh,
did for several years. All right. And got into appraising because my wife at the time wife suggested that I look into appraising. She was in mortgages and she thought she may want to branch off into appraising. And she checked it out and decided it wasn't for her. But she says, you know what? I think you're really going to like this. You should look into it. And she was right. She was actually right. Okay. So the thing with appraising that a lot of people don't know is that you have to serve a 2-year apprenticeship as a wannabe appraiser, actually.
a wannabe.
Yeah, a wannabe appraiser. Yeah, because you have to take classes, of course, and pass those classes, and then you have to find a mentor, someone who's actually going to sign off on your logs and help you keep a log so that you can put in your, I believe at the time, and it still might be, but I'm not 100% sure. At the time, I think you had to do 2,000 hours
Wow.
as an apprentice, working with someone, actually helping them and so on. And once you got that in, then you were able to sit for the exam. Okay. And I was lucky enough to pass the exam on the first try. But you know, a lot of people don't, but that's not a big deal. I mean, just like anything else, the law exam or anything else, state exam, sometimes you don't pass it on the first try. But even as a realtor, some people don't do it. So I was lucky enough to pass on the first try. After a couple of years for working with my mentor and accepting work from other people, I decided to strike out on my own, and I've been doing that ever since. So the name of my company is Tight and Right Real Estate Valuations.
Okay. So how did you come up with that name? That's interesting.
Well, if it's tight, it's right.
Okay.
So, so, so I wanted something that would stick in people's minds.
Yes.
Okay. And yeah, so that's what it's all about. So Titan Right Real Estate Valuations.com is my website for my appraisal business. And I really enjoy that.
That's pretty awesome. So you told me something I didn't know. You have to do 2,000 hours logging and take a state exam, and you have to go through. Is there a different school for real estate appraisal or no? Just
Oh,
doing,
absolutely. Yeah,
okay.
absolutely. Now, there are some of the schools that specialize in real estate. They will offer appraisal courses as well. And I'm thinking specifically of McKissick. You can go online and either take the classes for real estate inspector, an appraiser, agent. You know, they offer different things in the real estate realm. But yeah, it is totally different. The hardest thing nowadays is finding a mentor. Everyone's not cut out to be a teacher or a coach. You know, just not built for it. And you do have to put in time. One of the things I hear from people is you almost have to do double work when you're working with someone brand new like that. You know, like one guy said, and on top of the double work, they want you to pay him. So
I think that's in any profession where people are just getting started in the profession. They get,
right,
they're on the job, they're training, and they're getting paid in most instances to do it.
But as I said, everyone's not cut out for it. You know, you like to remind people that, well, you know, you had to do it. You had to do it. So each one teach one.
Indeed.
But, some people just don't have what it takes to be a coach or a teacher.
Indeed. You know? So what is an appraisal actually? So people, you know, just like the basics of it. What is it that you do?
What is an appraisal? Well, I guess the three core words is an unbiased opinion. In a nutshell, an appraisal is an unbiased opinion. And what I do is I look at the subject property, and then I go out into the community and look at recent sales of properties just like the subject property. And what that I'm able to glean from that is what a reasonable, educated buyer is willing to pay for a property like the subject, and what a reasonable, educated seller is willing to accept for that property. Okay. And in most cases, that's arranged, Clara. The appraiser wants you to hone in on a specific number, but in most cases, it's really arranged because it comes down to your negotiation skills. So your subject properties, maybe like your subject, could be selling anywhere from say 190 to 210, let's say. You know, and it comes down to negotiation and motivation. The motivation of the seller, as well as the motivation of the buyer. So, an unbiased opinion is basically the definition.
Yeah. Are there different types of appraisals? You know.
Well, yes, there are different types of appraisals. I'm assuming you mean like FHA versus conventional.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. There's still the only difference between them really is the how intense the appraisal work is. FHA really wants you to do a lot of things that I think are inspector type things, as far as going up in the attic and making a judgment on is the handrail sufficient, or are there handrails if they're more than 3 steps, things like that. Conventionals don't really care about that. So I think those are really the only differences.
What about the VA, the Veterans Administration?
Same thing. Yeah, they're pretty much just like the FHA. They're just digging into a little bit more about specifics on the property that may or may not, in my opinion, have anything to do with the value of the property. I think there's a lot of overlap in a home inspection for an FHA or VA appraisal versus a conventional appraisal. You also have different types of value. The most common value that is used in an appraisal is the sales comparison approach. In other words,
Okay.
I try to find sales that are most like the subject property, and then use those sales to come up with the value. In other words, I compare the different sales of like properties, and I'm able to come up with an opinion of value. Sometimes they want the income approach. So if it's an income property, a multi-unit. Oh, and by the way, I am my appraisal license is for residential appraisals. Residential is considered single family houses up to 4 units. So 1 unit up to 4 units. 5 units or more is a commercial appraisal. All right.
Okay.
Damn, I lost my train of thought. Income approach. All right.
Yes.
So yes, that's where you're comparing like properties and determining what people seem to be able to charge for rents versus their expenses and how much they're able to bring home, what the cash flow is after expenses. All right. So the lender wants to be certain, of course, that the cash flow is enough that the person can pay the mortgage. Okay.
Gotcha. So in the appraisal itself, with that approach, it'll actually state what the range of possible income is for that property.
Yes.
Is that how that works?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then on the commercial side, if it's a 1-unit building, but it's not a residential building, that would still be considered commercial, correct?
That's correct. You mean like a retail?
Yeah, like an office building.
Okay. Well, that's still
it's not residential.
That still is commercial, right? That still is commercial. Yeah. Now, I can do one of these buildings where maybe on the first level there's a store, and then upstairs there's 2 or 3 apartments. Yeah, I can do those. They're just a little more difficult.
Yeah. So what are some of the reasons that people order appraisals? In what circumstances?
Other than mortgages, other than a lender ordering for a mortgage, divorces. Okay. The relationship is over. We have to decide, well, what are we going to do with the house? Does one partner want to buy out the other partner? Do they actually want to just sell the house and go their separate ways? What are we going to do? Well, let's get the house appraised. If you want to buy me out, then let's get the house appraised, and then we can determine how much you're going to pay me to leave you with the property. And the same thing, if we're just going to get a divorce and split our assets and go on, we still need an appraisal.
Are there instances where a court might order a value of appraisal for something?
Well, both a court orders.
Yeah, like it's not a divorce, but what the courts say, we need an appraisal of,
Well, in my experience, it's been for 2 reasons that the court has been involved, or I've been contacted by an attorney. And it's either a divorce attorney or it's a probate, it's a death.
Probate,
yeah. So, it's a lot of attorneys. Well, there are a lot of occupations where we know that there's money to be made in death and divorces. Let's face it. So even as a realtor,
the 3 Ds: death, divorce, and disability.
Yeah. So even as a realtor, that properties come on the market because the owner has passed away. So usually if I'm contacted by an attorney, it's for either a divorce or the family needs to get the property appraised so they can decide the next step. As far as, do we keep the house? Do we sell the house? Does one sibling wants to keep the house while the other siblings want to sell the house? So let's decide how much that sibling is going to pay the rest of the family to go away. That sort of thing. Those are the only 2 instances where I've been caught up in the middle of a court-ordered anything. There may be a couple of others out there that I'm just not aware of or can't think of at the time. Yeah.
So I guess refinances too would be the other.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sorry, I forgot about refi. And there's a lot of that going on right now because the interest rates are so low. The interest rates are so low. Yeah. So I'm doing appraisals now. You have people who purchased a house a year ago, 15 months ago. And yeah, it's time to refi. The rates are just low and you can save so much money by doing that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Is it 6 months minimum before you can do a refi? Is it 6 months or is it longer now
I'm not 100%
before you can do
sure.
a refi?
I'm not
Yeah.
100% sure. Most people that I deal with, they purchased a house a year ago. Now you would really have to talk to a mortgage person to get specifics because that doesn't. I'm not concerned with that, honestly, as an appraiser.
Yeah. Yeah.
6
Indeed.
months. Yeah. Most people aren't interested in that at that point about has the value gone up. Okay. They just want to get out of the interest rate. So we just want to be sure that the market right now is stable and we haven't lost money. Okay. I bought it at 100 15 months ago. It's still valued at 100. I can still get the rate that I want. That's all they're interested in. So it's a little different mindset.
So people would do it for a refi if they're reselling the property, if they have it, the property on the market, or if there's a divorce, typically, or a court order might order an appraisal.
Yeah, well, you get you get feuding spouses, and one wants to buy out the other one, and now there's an argument about how much the property is worth. It's like, no, you're not giving me half of that. I know the property's worth more than that. That sort of thing. I'm sure you've heard of how ugly things can get.
Indeed. So the other thing, the question that comes up a lot is when a buyer is in the process of purchasing a home, they think they have to order the appraisal, but that has changed now, right? The buyer doesn't order the appraisal itself. The order comes from
the lender. Yeah, absolutely. And 90% of the time, that's who I'm dealing with. Yeah, it's the lender. The lender wants to make sure that the property is worth what they're loaning, or worth the amount of money that they're loaning to this person to purchase the house, so that hopefully not, but just in case they have to take that property back, they can put it back on the market and get what they've loaned the buyer. That's the whole point. So yeah, 90% of the time, maybe even more, but yeah, the majority of the time, it's the lender that's ordering an appraisal. It's only every now and then you get the divorce thing or the death thing or the refi thing. So probably the majority of the time it's the lender.
Yeah. So what would you say are the main things when you're going into a property that you're looking for, that they're asking you to check on, that you look at?
Condition. Condition of the property, because we can have a house, you could have two houses, they were built at the same time back in 1972, same subdivision. They were just alike. They're both the same model, whatever the model was, the Windjammer. We both got the Windjammer model back in 1972. The only difference was you took the model with the finished basement. I was trying to save money. I didn't finish the basement. So those were the only differences back when we purchased it in 72. Maybe in the meantime you have finished the basement. So now we both have finished basement, but you haven't really done anything to that property. Okay, so one person has kept up the maintenance of the property. Most people, they do keep up the maintenance, but you have one person who's actually updating the property all the time. They've scraped off all that old wallpaper that really dates the house. And the property's in great condition. They really took care of the property. Property B, they've done minimal maintenance on the property. Just really hasn't kept it up to date, so to speak. So property A is going to be worth a lot more in the market than property B because it's in better condition. It's probably updated with features that are relevant to today, as opposed to that property that has just been sitting there since 72 with nothing done to it other than replacing the water heater or just maintenance. Okay, so condition is the thing that I'm looking for mostly. Now I am trying to overlook clutter. Some people are concerned that they have to get the house cleaned up before I come in, but I am trying to overlook clutter. But yeah, the main thing, Claire, is definitely the condition. You can get an older house that's in better condition than some of the new houses. Sometimes people just don't take care of things. And it's interesting how you'll have people who will take care of the exterior, but you go inside and the maintenance is minimal. And then you have people, you arrive at that house and it's, oh my God, it looks horrible on the outside, but you go on the inside and the place is pristine. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. They just don't care about the bushes and the grass and all the cracks in the driveway. They don't care about that. But inside, the place is beautiful. So it's amazing how they got.
Are you supposed to look at like safety hazards, or is that more on the inspector side?
That's more on the inspector side. Well, of course I do. I make note of things that are visible. All right. I don't go poking around and lifting things like an inspector might do, where they may take the screwdriver and stick it in the wood to see if there's any damage from termites or things like that. I don't do that. But if it's obvious to me, then I have to take that into account, because that does go into condition of the property.
Like if it had knob and tube wiring and you saw it in the basement, is that something that you would typically note on an appraisal, or is that
I wouldn't
still
know.
under the inspector realm?
Yeah, actually it is still in the inspector realm. I would note that overall the property seems dated. And this might be a reason why. These are the 2 or 3 reasons why I would say the property is dated. Just to back up the fact that my opinion of value is more towards the lower end. So yeah, the range in that area might be 150 to 175. But I'm saying this one is more towards the 150 side because of the fact that it's dated. The maintenance is not quite there as the ones towards the higher range price, that sort of thing. But once again, I would leave that knob and tube stuff and pest damage and all of that to the home.
So it's really important for people to get a thorough home inspection so they can assess, the condition, the true condition of
absolutely
of the property.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So what would you say homeowners could do to improve the value? Like, what are the 2 or 3 things that really add more value to a property?
Updated kitchen, updated bathrooms. Always. You're a real estate agent, it's the updated kitchen, updated bathrooms that sell people. I mean, even if you can't cook, you want a nice looking kitchen. The party always ends up in the kitchen at the end. The guests are still lingering. You're usually in the kitchen finishing off the wine, helping clean up. The kitchen is the thing, and if the kitchen is modern, that really helps sell. Now, the extra rooms, of course, that's going to be great. A finished basement is great, but not everyone is into basements. A lot of people aren't into basements. Same with garages. People who have a garage and never put a car in it, never put a vehicle in that garage. They prefer to turn it into living area. But most of the time it's going to be updated kitchens and updated bathrooms. And if you want to help your marriage last, have his and her bathrooms.
Don't want to share the bathroom. Yes.
Well, yeah. Or at the very least, have a power.
Both ways. It's not a male or a female.
Right. And
they don't want to share bathrooms.
And I think, I mean, this is getting into the realtor side of it too. But I think having a powder room on the first floor for guests, so they don't have to go into your main bathroom, is a feature now, a good selling feature now. So many of these older houses, especially in the city, they're 3 bedrooms, 1 bath. And that's the way it was back in the day. 3 bedrooms, 1 bath. But most of us now, we don't really want our guests, having access to a bathroom. So we have the half bath, or the powder room, if you will, on the first floor. So our guests can use that. I mean, now even they're building 1 bedroom condos, and they have 1.5 baths. Because that's just the way we are now. We don't want our guests going into our bathroom, going through our medicine cabinet and seeing our private stuff.
Indeed.
So what
to the builders, developers out there, life has changed, things have changed. So how are you operating in this pandemic environment, as an appraiser? How does that affect what you do?
Well,
and
it's
how you
strange.
do it.
You would think people would not want me to come inside. And I've only run into a few cases of that. These people are getting refis. They're glad to see me. They're glad that I'm sitting appointments. All right. Now, of course, I do have a mask, and I do wear my mask, and I have gloves. I do have the gloves. So I come in because, and I asked them when we set the appointment that I asked them to open. I need photos of the rooms. So I would appreciate if you have the doors open so I don't have to touch doorknobs, turn the lights on for my photos so I don't have to touch light switches. So I'm aware of that. I don't want to touch doorknobs, light switches, handrails, or keep the touching to a minimum, even though I am wearing gloves. All right. And even though I do have a mask on, people, people really like that. But as far as these refis go, people are glad to see me. They want to get the refis done. And so, like I said, I've had maybe a couple in this whole 10-week period, maybe 2 people who decided they wanted to wait on an appraisal. One guy told me not only did he have his elderly in-laws living in the house, but he had toddlers in the house as well. And he just didn't feel comfortable having someone come in from the outside. I get it. Fine. Not a problem. I've had people who they go outside when I come inside. That sort of thing. In the beginning, I even had people meet me with a mask. When they open the door, they'll have a mask in their hands. Oh, you have one? Oh, yeah, I have one, Pam. I'm not coming in without a mask and gloves on. So the only thing is now things have started to slow up business-wise as this thing stretches out into what, 3 months now? Yeah, people are kind of slowing up, and so it's affecting everybody's business. I think people are up in arms. But as of today, I don't know if you noticed it, but as of today, it just seems like people are getting a little looser out there. There's more traffic out there on the interstate, and more people in the stores. It's like people are starting to get a lot looser.
People walking around without masks.
How about that? And traffic? I mean, 4 weeks ago, I could be on 295 and there'd be nobody on there. You could do 100. There wasn't even any police. I'd do 100 miles an hour. I look down. I look at the oh my God, I'm doing 102. There's no one. I better pull it back a little bit. Now it's crowded.
It's a lot more. There's a lot more activity, and there's a lot more activity in the real estate market as well. So 2 more things, and then we're going to wrap. Is there like a set price, or kind of what determines the price, and what areas do you service?
Well, I service, I guess you would call it maybe Central Jersey on down to South Jersey. So let's say Essex County down to Gloucester County. Okay. My office is in Princeton. So I'm mostly in Burlington, Mercer, Middlesex, Somerset, Camden, mostly. The only reason I really will go up as far as Trenton, not Trenton, I'm sorry, as far as Newark, is maybe as a favor or referral. Like say someone like you, I know they've referred someone to me. I'll go up there as a favor to you. But there's enough business right here in Central Jersey, South Jersey for me. I don't have to go that far. An hour's ride that's a long ride.
It is. It's pretty decent, right? And then does the cost of the appraisal change based on what type it is, or is it pretty much a set price?
Well, there is more charge for a 2 to 4 unit because there's more work. Right. And actually, when I do a 2 to 4 unit property, they not only want the sales comparison approach, they definitely want the income approach. The lender is basically lending based on how much you're going to cash flow on that property, because you're using that to determine if you can pay the mortgage or not. Whereas on a single family, in most cases, now people do buy single family properties as income producing properties. Okay. But in most cases, a single family is a purchase for the purchaser to live in. So it's based on income from your job or your business or other things. Okay. So there is more money charged for a 2 to 4 unit appraisal. All right. I'm kind of reluctant to quote a price right now.
No, not an actual price, but like if it's a single family, that would be one price. If it's a multifamily, that would be a different different price.
Right,
If
right.
that would be a different price. Or
Yeah.
it's all pretty much the same.
Mm.
And you said the multifamily is a different place than the single
Yes.
family.
Yeah, because of the work involved, the time and the work involved in it.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
I'm
so-
sure, your travel time where you have to go, all of those things. So
well, I don't really care about travel time because I do keep it tight, as I say. I'm not up in Passaic County or Bergen County. I'm not down by Atlantic City. So I just don't go that far. I'll refer you to someone else.
okay.
So I don't really care about that so much. It's more the job.
Yeah.
All right. So
The square footage of the house, does that impact the cost? Like if it's a small house versus a 4,000, 3,000 square foot house, does that impact the price at all?
not necessarily. I do have a single price. Some houses are more involved than others because the comps aren't there.
Yeah.
The comps aren't there. And nowadays, the
location could impact the price if it's in a more rural area than a
that's
place that
correct. That's
has a lot
correct.
of sales. Okay.
That's correct. And oftentimes I will get a call from a realtor. They can't decide what to price the property or what to put the property on the market for because there's not enough information out there for them to use to price the property.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I'm sorry. I thought I had cut this off. Okay. I cut one off and then cut the other off. I can get a phone call from my phone as well as through my iPad. Cut the phone off. Forgot about the iPad. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
What was the question again? That one just threw me off.
So if it's in like a geographic area, or you were talking about if there are not as many comps, the seller might say, or an agent might say, I'm having a hard time finding comps for this property.
Yeah, let's get a professional to do this.
Yeah.
More and more now, I'm not getting easy things, slam dunks. Necessarily while they'll bring an appraisal, because some of these lenders, they have what called AVMs, automated valuation models. So the lender has an idea already of what the value is going to be. They have a good ballpark figure what the value is going to be. They will call me when it's a tough property to value. All right. So sometimes I do have to charge more because it's going to take more work. It's going to take, and not just more work, but more time.
Right.
I may have to spend twice as much time on this one. It's twice as much time on some farm out in the middle of nowhere versus a townhouse in the middle of Princeton. I can comp that one in no time and get the thing out of here in an afternoon versus a farm that it's going to take me a day and a half. So yeah, you have to charge for your time as well as your knowledge.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. This has been really cool. So how can people contact you?
Well, my phone number's on the screen. You can always go to my website, TitanWrightRealEstateValuation.com. I don't know, can they see that?
Yeah.
TitanWrightRealEstateValuation.com.
Okay.
Now, I also have another website. I'm also an investor. I have a real estate redevelopment company, and that's the Cardwell Thaxton Group. You can reach me, or my website for the Cardwell Thaxton Group is CardwellBuyMyHousePlease.com.
I like that.
CardwellBuyMyHousePlease.com. And your listeners, I would like for them to consider subscribing to my blog. You can go to my website, CardwellBuyMyHousePlease.com/blog. I put out one every week. I've been able to get it up on Mondays. Every now and then life gets in the way. It might go up on Tuesday. But so far, every Monday, I put up a new blog. Sometimes there's two blogs. I might put up one Monday, sometimes Thursday. Sometimes you just, you're just in a very creative mood. Things are on your mind. I'm pregnant with ideas.
Yes. And your blog is great. It's really great. So for those of you who are listening to and viewing this video, Carlos, his blog is really, really great. A lot of phenomenal information. So I just want to thank you for sharing today. Got information on if you want to be an appraiser, what it takes in terms of the hours going to school and the mentorship. the reasons why people have to do an appraisal. If you're reselling, you're refining, you're going through a divorce and you want to get a valuation of that property, Mr. Thaxton can help you with that as well. And also, the clutter doesn't matter, but the condition, if you've done upgrades, if you've upgraded that kitchen and bath, those are the types of things that bring value in the things that you do. And in this environment, please mask up, mask and glove, and
Mask and gloves.
open all the doors for the appraisers, and
Yeah, we don't want to touch
lights,
it.
and for people who are visiting your property as well, so that they don't have to touch things that belong to you. And it's good. It's good for everybody. So thank you again. Like I said, our guests are here as a resource to you. So definitely reach out to Mr. Thaxton. You can like and replay this video. You can share it and you can subscribe. If you have any questions that you think about after the fact, just post them down in the comment section and we'll definitely get back to you. And hopefully this provided some value to you. I want to thank you for watching today. Financial Fridays is here to provide you with resources, information, and tips to impact your bottom line. So we hope you receive something of value today. Just want to send love and light prayers out to anybody who has lost a loved one, anyone who has someone in the hospital for any reason and you're not able to see them or be with them. For those who are experiencing the impact of physical distancing, although some of y'all are walking around without masks, we are not out of this yet. So please be considerate and kind to others, and especially to our essential employees who have to go to work and provide the needed services for you, the healthcare, the transportation, the food, the people in the store, police and fire protection, and definitely our leadership. So I encourage everyone to take care of yourself, take care of your family, and stay safe. My name is Clara Lyons-DeVaughn. Financial Fridays, we stream live on Facebook and YouTube every Friday at 9:30, so you can join us again next Friday. Until then, keep living your best life. Thanks, Mr. Thaxton.
My pleasure, Clara. My pleasure.
Appreciate you.